Has this ever happened to you? You're getting ready for a study session, getting a hot drink, lighting up a candle. You're making yourself comfortable. You sit down to your textbook, setting your phone aside, and start learning. After a brief 30-minute study session, you decide to take a break. You look at your phone and... What? You realize only 2 minutes have passed? But that's impossible. You have been studying for so long. You sit back to your textbook, but now you check the time very frequently, and it seems like the time has stopped. But how is that possible? You had prepared for a static study session. How come are you not having fun? Hi, my name is Tina, and congratulations! You have successfully romanticized the shit out of a task that you had to do, and you are now met with reality. Romanticizing, or the verb romanticize. To deal with or describe in an idealized or unrealistic fashion. Make something seem better or more appealing than it really is. I feel like in this day and age we have all come into a contact with romanticizing something, even though we might not even realize that we are doing it. I really started to think about it because Nicole Raffi posted a video, like, I moved to New York and I'm not doing well. You should definitely go watch that video, by the way. Where she talked about how she really romanticized the task of actually moving without really realizing what a toll it was going to take on her. And that really got me thinking, well, goddamn, I've been romanticizing a lot. I feel like romanticization, especially for the generation that spent a very, very big and important portion of their life in quarantine, is kind of normal, or at least normalized. Like, I remember when COVID happened, I was in 9th grade in primary school and I was about to go to like high school. And I remember I romanticized the ever-loving shit out of high school. I could not wait to be there, to meet new friends, to be finally productive, to finally do something that I want to do. People that know me or have watched my video on high school are laughing right now. But I think inherently there is a question about romanticizing something, or the act of romanticization. Because when I look at it and when I really think about it, I feel like it's a good thing and then inherently a bad thing. I do this so much with like cleaning, for example. Like if I have to like clean part of our apartment because I live with my boyfriend, I usually wait until he's like at work so I can like blast loud music and put on comfy clothes and just like romanticize the ever-loving shit out of like cleaning the fucking toilet or something. You know, romanticizing is not something inherently bad, but it can be. It definitely can be. One example that I'm gonna give you from my personal experience is I'm romanticizing moving to a bigger city because I'm gonna move to the capital city of the country that I live in like half a year, and I romanticized the ever-loving shit out of it for weeks because I was very anxious about moving there because it's a huge city with a lot of stereotypes, so I was kind of like, you know, scared of it. And then came the romanticizing aspect of it all. When I remember just telling my boyfriend, I can't wait till I go there. I'm really looking forward to moving into the city that I was terrified of. I'm like looking forward to putting everything into boxes and having to drive 1.5 to 2 hours and then getting all of those boxes out and then, you know, looking for the apartments, even though that's gonna be so fucking stressful. I'm romanticizing it. And then I hit a rock. I don't know how to really explain it. And since I'm an expert in romanticizing shit, my friends and family are kind of the ones that always snap me back into reality. So for example, I was very anxious about like being alone in my apartment because I've never lived alone. I don't, but when my boyfriend goes to his job, sometimes until like 2 a.m, so I have to be here alone when it's dark and night. When like the time was really bad, I remember I took the opportunity to be like, I want to get a rabbit. I want to get a pet bunny because I've always wanted a bunny. And, you know, in my mind, I was like, if I'm not gonna be alone in this house, like if I'm gonna have at least like something living in here that I can like cuddle with, not a goldfish or a hamster or whatever, but a little bunny, that could really help me, you know? Like, I could really focus on the fact that I'm not here alone. I'm here with another living being. I don't know why, because even though I'm gonna have a little bunny, it's not like he's gonna protect me from if someone like robs my apartment or something, but I just like in my head it made sense. And I romanticized so much out of having a bunny. It was, oh my god, it was all I could think about. And when I told that to my mom, her first reaction was like, but what are you gonna do when he like chews on a very expensive wire that you need? Or what are you gonna do when he chews like a leg off a table or something? And that is so funny to me now thinking back, because that sent me into such a spiral. Because just me realizing that I romanticized like having a pet bunny, it kind of sent me spiraling into thinking what else I romanticized. For example, the moving to the capital city. Because for me to move to that city, I have to get accepted into university. I have to finish my college that I'm in now, which is very hard because I'm so depressed right now. Seasonal depression not only knocked on the door but fucking broke in through a back window. So she's here. Like the thing that I think about it is when we romanticize something in the future, you know, the whole mentality of, oh, new year, new me. I feel like that's what we kind of chase. We chase that new beginning. A lot of times romanticize moving to a different city or getting into a different school because it's a chance for us to rebuild ourselves, to work on stuff that we wanted to work on for so long, or the fact that we're not going to be judged by anyone because we don't know anyone here. We're like a blank slate, a blank canvas. If you told me that you never thought about it this way, I would not believe you. I remember when I was again like in 9th grade, I had like very long hair and I chopped all of it off. I bleached the underlayer of my hair because I was going to an art school. No one knew me there. I could do whatever the I wanted, and I could try all of those different things because suddenly it's not weird. Suddenly it's not, oh, Tina's awkward cringe trying new things. No, suddenly it's, oh, this random person looks like this. It's cool. Wow. The sense of being judged by the people around you is not really there because it's like you don't know anyone. You're a new person. There's no asshole classmates to judge you. You're you. You're the new you. Like, does that make sense? Is this just in my head? Because I've had this all my life. Even now, going from high school to college, I changed my appearance so much because I was like, this is an opportunity to change myself how I wanted to change myself, but was too scared to do it. I also have a horrible bad case of romanticizing with a funny thing called winter. I romanticize winter so much, and I wanted to look more into why, because winter is always the worst time of the year for me. As I've talked about before, seasonal depression, hello, she's here and she's fucking punching me 100%. I'm already doing much worse than I was like 2 weeks ago. Why do I like winter so much? If you asked me what my favorite season is, I would say winter. Is it just because it's pretty outside and there's Christmas around the corner and the holidays and everything is pretty? Maybe, but I also struggle so much. Even when it's like fall, even when it's October, turning November, I'm like, I can't wait for winter time. And now that it's winter time, it's currently the 5th of December, I'm struggling a lot right now, even though it might not seem like it. Like, that is so weird. Why do we romanticize the stuff that hurt us? And that got me thinking into a thing called pandemic/quarantine nostalgia. Woo! I feel like this year, more than ever, I have heard people be nostalgic over pandemic, whether it was tweets or different TikToks talking about how they miss the whipped coffee and how they miss doing quirky stuff to their appearance and changing their hair. miss it. Oh, how we miss it. Oh, what? It was a global pandemic where people died and we literally had curfew by 9 p.m. But the whipped coffee was so good! Like, romanticizing 2020 and the pandemic has been a pandemic of itself this year, I feel. And not only this year, last year as well. But that came in with the whole, like, I think it's called anniversary nostalgia? When we like romanticize, like the PTSD responses to romanticize stuff, I actually found a very cool article about this. And this article that I found does not only talk about pandemic nostalgia, but specifically why nostalgia is so crucial, why nostalgia is so present when we look back at stuff that we grieve. Nostalgia has a bad reputation. At best, it's seen as guilt indulgence, and at worst, the refugee of people who would rather forget the worst of the past than live in the present. But in traumatic situations like the pandemic, it may actually come in handy. It's Christine Bacho. In fact, recent research has found that nostalgia often combines happiness and sadness into a constructive narrative that can contribute to processing and ultimately moving on from traumatic experiences. Nostalgia, the personal kind, has been associated with very healthy aspects of well-being, says Bacho, such as empathy, compassion, forgiveness, social connectedness, belonging, anxiety reduction, continuity of self, and optimism. And now that the camaraderie Now that the camaraderie of the early pandemic is long dissipated, the sense of connectedness that nostalgia can bring may be more attractive than ever. Especially like nostalgia over something traumatic experience as like a collective, because we have all experienced the pandemic. Unless you're a fucking 3-year-old watching this video, which I think is very unlikely, it can really bring us all together. It's kind of like fandoms. Hear me out. Because when you're in a fandom, or when you find a niche that has a fandom and you join in, it can make you feel connected. And there is a certain connectiveness with nostalgia as well. Even though the pandemic was so traumatic to many of us, if not most or all of us, we can still find connectedness together within this traumatic times, because some people are still suffering from all of the things that happen in quarantine. I'm again gonna talk about myself. I feel like we don't really talk, or like we nearly don't really talk about how the pandemic affected like my generation, who, you know, my first year of high school was in pandemic, which got me into some like really long-term bad effects. I'm not sure if the sentence I just said made sense, but I hope it did. Because art school entrance exams are like months before other schools' entrance exams. So when I got accepted into my school, my primary school was like, okay, you don't have to like come to the Zoom classes if you don't want to, because you're already accepted. We're just going to be talking about stuff that is going to be in the entrance exams, but you're already accepted. You don't have to come. Do you think me, 15-year-old me, came to those classes when they were not compulsory? Fuck no. And that, I had such a problem going into these classes when I was in like the freshman year of high school. I barely didn't pass because I just couldn't be bothered to join. And I, to this day, have such a big problem with it. To be fair, a big part of it is actually the fact that I also have ADHD, and I didn't know that back at the time. So I just wanted to say that might be a big, contributor to that. It might not apply to everyone. I'm just saying. Again, I don't see romanticize. I feel like this video essay went much more into nostalgia than romanticizing, but I hope I kind of said something. I just really wanted to talk about it because romanticizing stuff, I feel like, is always seen as like such a beautiful thing, because romanticizing comes from the word romanticism, and romanticism is so beautiful. And I feel like a lot of times we just look at romanticizing something as like, oh, I'm gonna light up a candle when I go learn something, or I'm gonna make a hot coffee to when I have to go read the compulsory books that I have to read. We never really look at the fact of how much it negatively affects our mindset. As I've talked about with romanticizing something and then being met with reality, realizing that even though you lit up that candle and made that hot drink, you still dread doing the fucking task. Or it doesn't make the topic easier to learn. Like, romanticizing stuff, I think, is okay. Like, if you, like, we all do it, right? Especially with, like, the maladaptive daydreaming, which I'm definitely a big, do you just say daydreamer? I'm a big daydreamer. I've been daydreaming every day of my goddamn life, I feel like. So romanticizing can help us get through tasks better, because you could also say that, well, but thanks to the romanticizing, I actually at least got to sit at the textbook. I at least glanced over it. I didn't just completely procrastinate it. And yes, of course, that is a good thing, but just beware of the side effects because it can really have a toll on you. You know, I want to be like that big sister that you have, because in my 19 years of life, I feel like I have a lot of negative experience. And so I just want to be here, that like person that holds your hand and like pats your shoulder and is here for you to tell you that just be careful. Don't be too hard on yourself. Even if you romanticize the fuck out of reading a textbook, doesn't mean that you are gonna learn it much easier. Please be easy on yourself. None of us are perfect, and not even a cup of hot tea can help that. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked, please do leave a like and subscribe, because it helps me out so much. You don't even know how. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, that is amazing. Thank you so much. And you can follow me on Instagram at sweetinka, or at TikTok and sweetinka. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day, and I love you so much, and I will see you at the next one.